Oh, hi. Let's talk about the new romantic comedy. Oh, hi. Hey, everyone. It's David Stark from Watch Your Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Oh, Hi, which is coming to theaters. It came to theaters on July 25th, 2025. It is a new romantic comedy drama starring Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman, written and directed by Sophie Brooks. Is this movie worth your time? Is this a trip you're going to want to take? My hot take is I think you should actually pass on it. I liked some things about this, but overall, I thought the movie was pretty slow. It wasn't as funny as I was expecting it to be. And it had a strange situation, one that, I don't know, was a little uncomfortable and also felt like strange to depict. So I think you should ultimately pass on it. I was really expecting to like this. I thought it'd be a lot of fun, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I expected to. So, all that being said, I'm gonna tell you about the film, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So, as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn off when I get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. Let you know when I get to those spoilers. So in Ojai, you have Iris and Isaac. They're going on a lovely trip to Ojai Valley. They've been dating for 4 months, but when they get there, something happens to them that causes Iris to question their entire relationship and maybe try to save it. So, things I liked about this movie. The first, I like the cast. It's a fun cast. Look, Molly Gordon does a great job. She's a lot of fun to see. I love Logan Lerman, so I'll see him in anything. They are the two main people. They are really, they're charismatic. They're fun to watch. The situation gets a little weird, but overall, I did like the cast. And then eventually, you got their two friends who join, Geraldine Viswanathan and John Reynolds. They come in and add a little bit more flavor to this whole situation. Second thing I liked, there are some funny moments. This is a comedy. There are some funny moments. There's not as many as I expected, but there are some moments that will make you at least chuckle a little bit. And the last thing I liked, there is some heart in the movie, more towards the end, but there is a little bit of heart. So I appreciated that little chunk right there. So all that being said, things I didn't like as much. The first, it's pretty slow. I mean, when you get the story, when you know the story, you can understand why it's slow. But not a ton happens here. It doesn't feel like there's that many like ups and downs in this movie. It feels like a kind of like slow pace and not a lot that happens. Kind of the second thing I didn't love as much. Not a lot happens. I mean, the story itself means that not a lot happens, but it feels like they could have put some more situations, some more things into some more, I guess plots into this movie, but it's a small indie movie. I understand why they wanted to keep it simple, but that also means that the movie just didn't really keep my attention. And building off of that, the third thing I didn't love as much, it's not very funny. Like I expected this to be a really funny comedy. It has a ridiculous situation, it has some ridiculous characters. I just didn't find it that funny. I don't know, maybe it's just 'cause I didn't sympathize with the main character. Maybe I didn't, understand the situation that well, but I thought that the movie's jokes mostly fell flat. There were some that were fairly funny, but overall it didn't really make me chuckle as much as I expected. Maybe it just wasn't for me. That's fine. Maybe it could just be my sense of humor. I'm not sure. And the last thing I didn't love as much, it's a strange situation. Like I kept wondering, like, what if the situation was reversed? Would this be an okay movie? Would this be very different? I'm not going to go into that right now. I'll go into it in the recap. But overall, it just I couldn't really empathize with the characters. I couldn't really get past this odd situation. Overall, the film just didn't really do it for me. So I think you should pass on it. But if you do see it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. I'm gonna really quickly go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So, Iris and Isaac, like I said, they've been dating for 4 months. They're going on a lovely romantic trip to Ojai Valley. They get up there, they have a wonderful day. They're hanging out, they're talking about the relationship, they're talking about what they like and didn't like. They make a lovely dinner together. Isaac cooks for them. So, it is just a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Then that night, they decide to kind of spice it up a little bit, maybe try something new. And Iris ends up like handcuffing Isaac to the bed. They end up having sex, and afterwards they're talking, and it comes out that Isaac mentions that he didn't think they were exclusive. Isaac says he's not really looking for a relationship, whereas Iris thought that they were exclusively dating. They've been dating for 4 months. They went up for this lovely trip, this romantic trip, and so she's confused. Isaac is like, "Whoa, like you just said you wanted to exclusively have unprotected sex, which I'm doing. Like I'm wearing condoms with everyone else." And she's like, "Wait, you're sleeping with other people?" And so it ends up being this argument that Isaac eventually just says like, "Hey, if we're wanting different things, then maybe we should just stop seeing each other." And Iris freaks out about this. She, leaves him tied up and kind of like leaves the room. So Isaac is sitting there tied up to the bed that night. The next morning, Iris comes up and tries to convince him. that they should stay together. She tries to convince him that they're right for each other. She just needs to like show him this. She gets a little crazy, saying like, "Oh, well, if I untie you, I'll have to stab you." I think she's joking, but look, Isaac is tied to the bed. He's not sure what's going to happen. He's been tied there overnight, so I think he is a little bit afraid here. So he agrees to what Iris is saying. Give her 12 hours to convince him that they should be together, and then she'll untie him. So Iris says they're going to use this to connect. She starts by making him breakfast, which is a horrible looking French toast, and starts taking care of him, entertaining him, helping him to relieve himself, things like that, things you can't do when you're tied up. So she tries to convince him. They talk about her childhood, her growing up. At one point, she mentions like she used to dance, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love to see you dance." And so she prepares a dance for him. It's cute, but again, like not a ton happens here. Now, eventually, after 12 hours, she doesn't untie him. I think Isaac is like, played the game, and now he like wants to get untied. She doesn't believe that he'll stick around, so she doesn't untie him. Eventually, he says, "You're going to go to jail for this," and so she then leaves and calls her friends for help. So her friends show up, and they, I guess, get in on this now conspiracy to kidnap Isaac. And so they eventually try a spell that's going to make him forget. They create this like potion that is going to drug him and cause him to forget the last 2 days. So he's not going to remember this whole situation. They do this. Isaac goes to sleep, and the next morning he wakes up and seems to have forgotten everything. It's he's like, "Oh, this is silly. Like, oh, I'm still tied up. It was a really crazy night we had, huh?" And so Iris is happy about this. She thinks that maybe Isaac did forget everything. So she unties him. She goes down. She's like, "Oh, look, our friends are here. They showed up." He's like, "Oh, that's crazy. Hey, it's good to see you all." Even though he's, theoretically saw him earlier, he seems like he is fully in this situation. So Iris goes to start making breakfast, and Isaac is like, "Oh, well, I think they got some fruit or something." Like, "Oh, it's in the car. Let me go get it." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, let me just go get it." So she gives him the car keys. He goes to the car, and then you can kind of see in the window as Iris is like making the breakfast, Isaac starts running to the car, gets in, and just like drives away. And it turns out that while the friends were there, Isaac asked the like Lenny, I think is his name. Yeah, Kenny. Isaac asked Kenny when they were up there talking, and it was hot in the room to open the window. And so when he opened the window, Isaac apparently overheard the friends talking, not very loud, but maybe it's really quiet in Ojai Valley, talking about the whole spell and the forgetful thing. So he put two and two together. He's like, "Oh, if I pretend to forget, then they'll think it worked." And so he conned them, I guess, the whole time to like get out of here. So he is now driving away. Iris thinks about going after him, but then she just kind of like lets it go. She's like, "Well, what happens, happens. If I go to jail, I'll go to jail." So she mopes for a bit and goes to sleep. She wakes up and gets a call from the police, and she thinks the worst. Well, it's not what she thinks. It's not that they're coming to get her. We find out that they found her car wrapped around a tree, and Isaac wasn't there. So now, feeling really guilty about all of this, Iris and the friends go out looking for Isaac. She eventually finds him like down a hill. He like crashed his car and then tried to crawl away because he was worried he was going to get kidnapped again. So he is like at the bottom of the hill under a tree with a broken leg. They eventually talk a little bit. They kind of joke a little bit. This is the heart part that I like. This is where I was like, okay, this is like starting to come together for me. It feels, like a nice situation where they're kind of like understanding each other, even though they are at different ends. They're kind of understanding each other. It seems like there is a little bit of a sweetness here. They talk, they joke. Eventually, she helps him and calls the ambulance. Ambulance comes, they take her away, they take Isaac away. They kind of like share a look at the end, and Iris is like, "At least we'll always have Ojai." And Isaac looks at her and is like, "Okay, never mind, never mind." Load him into the ambulance, takes him away. That's it. That's the movie. There's no, you know, realization, I guess. Maybe as this relationship is just over, I guess. It doesn't seem like they're gonna probably get together. I don't know. Iris was a little bit crazy, but I'm sure there's worse things that could happen than someone being really into you. I don't know. It seemed interesting. It seemed like it would be fun if like at the end they did kind of get together or maybe like agree to try again. Who knows? But that is kind of how this movie ends. It ends with Isaac going away in the ambulance. You not sure what's going to happen next. I assume they're not going to see each other ever again. Iris will hopefully get her car fixed. She will maybe move on and find someone who is as into her as she is into them. Who knows? But that is Ojai. Like I said, I think you should pass on it. I like some parts of the movie. It was just weird. Like, imagine what if the situation was reversed? What if it was Isaac who was obsessed with Iris? and he tied her up. That would be a very different movie. I guess, the role reversal is interesting here, and that's part of like what makes it funny, but it wasn't super funny to me. It felt just sad and desperate, and I didn't really get a good feel for the characters before this happened, so I didn't really sympathize with Iris and her whole plight. I think we're supposed to, maybe, and that would help me understand this, but overall, it just was a strange situation. It was slow. It wasn't super funny. So I think you should pass on it. But if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you don't like this movie, please don't come and tie me up and convince me that you like it. Just leave a comment. And if you did like this review, hey, leave a comment also. And please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.